Welcome back in here, VSiN at the track, Breeders' Cup week. And look, we know everyone who joins us, they want to know who are the long shots. So that's what this video is all about. This podcast is all about. If you catch us, Apple, Spotify, make sure you subscribe, rate, and review so you don't miss any videos this week. We've got another coming tomorrow. We've got an interview video that dropped. We've got a video on the Friday races that is already out. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. If you're over at VSiN Live, give us the thumbs up. Let us know what long shots you like as well. As always, we are presented by First Bet Racing. If you're going to bet the Breeders' Cup, make sure you head over to firstbet.com and make sure you use VSiNBC, VSiNBC as your sign-up code there. If you bet $200 on the Breeders' Cup, you are entered to win an all-expenses-paid exclusive trip to Circa in Las Vegas there. Airfare, $250 food and beverage credit, your own cabana at Stadium Swim, a 2-night stay, everything included there over if you sign up using the promo code VSiNBC. That's VSiNBC. Head to first.com/VSiN. That's number 1, st.com/VSiN for that exclusive offer there over with the Breeders' Cup. Now, Aaron, we got to talk long shots. We got to talk who we like. This is one of my favorite weekends because I love all of the long shots that you can handle. So we'll just talk about who we like in this race, and then we'll talk about the race as a whole as we go through each of these. We each have 3 long shots that we are looking forward to play, and I will let you kick it off here. Who is your first long shot that you're looking to play this weekend?
All right, let's go race 8 on Friday, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf. Now, huge favorite, number 13, Precise. I like that horse quite a bit. I'm looking for a longer price to play with her, whether it be in the pick 4s and pick 5s or in exactas and tries. I keep going back to the number 2, Queen of Hawaii, 12-1 on the morning line here. And again, if you're trying to couple Precise, a heavy favorite, up with somebody, this just makes a ton of sense to me. A horse trained by Joseph O'Brien here with the number 2, Queen of Hawaii, just getting better and better with each start. You know, first race, maybe not so good. And then after that, back-to-back victories. I thought looked very good in both of them. I think is a very, very well-bred horse. Should be just fine coming over here. Doesn't really compare to Precise from a time form perspective when you look at the numbers, even a class perspective. But when you look at her versus the rest of the field, I think she looks great, and I think she looks even better at 12-1. And here's the biggest thing. When you get a horse like Precise, it is going to take a lot of money. It does open up a lot of options for horses that are higher prices than they should be. I kept going back to the number 2, Queen of Hawaii, so that's my first long shot.
Yeah, I actually like this horse quite a bit as well. This is one where I think if you want to throw a win bet in and you're getting that 12-1 price, I think Queen of Hawaii is very interesting in this spot. Precise looks really tough. And so this might be one, like you said, that you want to pair up underneath if you are looking to bet exactas here. It was super impressive in the last start for Joseph O'Brien. We'll see if she can continue going with it. Now, I'm glad you selected this race because we did do our show yesterday on Tuesday talking about the Friday races, and one horse that was super popular in the comments was the number 8 horse, Brave Deb, who neither of us had when we talked through it. She's going to be one of the speed horses here in a race that has some speed but not an overwhelming amount. Did you consider the 8 Brave Deb at all?
You know, I didn't, to be quite honest. 20-1 on the morning line, so I don't really want to talk anybody off a horse that's 20-1. Like, you're getting good value there. I think she'll be every bit of that. My problem is, and look, I'm not like the biggest speed figure person, right? I that's kind of like maybe the 3rd or 4th factor when I look at. But one thing that I've seen with Brave Deb, and I've seen a lot of the different speed figures, it seems like every one of those have her a little bit of a cut below. I know you do look at the races and go 2 for 2 at the distance, 2 for 2 on her career overall, did win the local, kind of prep up at Santa Anita for this. All good stuff. I just think she might be a little bit slow for this race. I think she's got to improve a little bit too much. So, again, I don't want to discourage anybody because undefeated horse, right? Winning in Southern California, has a win over the track. There are positives there. Richard Mandela, great trainer. So there are a lot of positives there. I'm just not sure she's fast enough.
I think that if she gets loose, she's dangerous.
Yeah.
I just don't know if she gets loose. I think that is the big question. We mentioned there's not a ton of speed in this spot, but I do think that the 5 Final Accord may end up being a very fast horse. Has been running in sprints and now stretching out to a mile for Mark Casse and Jose Ortiz. You've got Celebrity Warrior right to the inside who was fast at Laurel, but that wasn't real fast. That was kind of East Coast fast, and the Brave Deb obviously West Coast fast. So I do think that you have a shot that Brave Deb gets loose. That's the big question mark to me, though. If she gets loose, I think she's live. I'm not sure she gets loose. So that I think is a big part of your handicapping play there. If you believe she gets loose, I wouldn't talk you off a 20-1 shot. I love me some long shots. So number 2, Queen of Hawaii, the first long shot for Aaron. Race number 8, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf, 12-1 on the morning line there. I'm going to rewind. This is the Juvenile Sprint on the turf here. And I'm going to go with the number 2, Military Code. I've talked about this horse quite a bit. I love this horse. I think this is one of those that just comes in and has the right style to be able to win this race. We've talked about Schwarzenegger and how fast that we believe he is going to go early. The other main contenders from Europe, True Love, Havana Anna, and even the number 1 Brussels are all horses that were forwardly placed or prominent in Europe. I want the closer from Europe, not the speed horses. It's a different level of speed in the U.S., specifically turf sprinting, than it is over in Europe. We'll see if any of those other European horses can rate. We did see one horse in the turf sprint last year be able to do so, even though that horse was on the lead generally. So that's always a play. But to me, the one true closer coming from Europe is the number 2 Military Code. It's Appleby. It's Buick. All systems go here on the number 2 Military Code, 12-1. In the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint on Friday for me, Aaron.
I like this play. I've got this horse included in all the exotics and the pick 4s and pick 5s. For me, I tried to get around True Love as well, who I think will be a decent favorite. I went Havana Anna, who's not quite high enough on the morning line for us to use him for this video. But again, same kind of thought for me, trying to just get around the favorite there with some horses. And yeah, Military Code was one I used. So I like it. I like your theory. It was Military Code, Brussels, Havana Anna. That's who I was kind of juggling with. I did end up on Havana Anna, but I have no argument with this. If Military Code wins, I'll be smiling with you.
Yeah, I hope Military Code gets home. If later than plan draws in for D'Amato, the 13 at 20-1, that's another one I think that you can use at a little bit of a price. All right, Aaron, second long shot of the Breeders' Cup weekend for you. Where are we headed?
Same theme as my first one. Let's go to race 10 on Friday. It is the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf, kind of ending the day here. And again, you've got the Aidan O'Brien horse, Gustad, all the way to the outside. Obviously, a horse that is going to be very popular, going to be a big price. I thought the number 10 Ardesia was really interesting at 15-1. This is a horse, as a 2-year-old, has already had 11 starts. That's a lot, but has won 5 of those, comes in off great form, winning 3 out of the last 5, hitting the board in all 5 races. Really, you take out just a couple of races in this pattern, and this horse always shows up with a good effort. Now, going to have to stretch out in distance. I think that is a question mark, but the horse is going to be really fit. We know that, and the breeding suggests the mile should be okay. I really like Ardesia at 15-1, kind of the same way with Queen of Hawaii, how I talked about a little bit earlier. I think a win bet makes sense, but I also think if you want to use this horse with the favorite, it's a really good way to juice up the exactas, the tries, things like that. So second long shot for me, number 10, Ardesia, 15-1, race 10 on Friday.
Yeah, I've got this horse in my top 3, and I think this one is really interesting. You mentioned the 11 races. I consider that a benefit, not a negative, because you have much more racing experience. If you look back, the first 4 races, so it breaks the maiden on first effort, but then the next 3, gets a little bit better, but not great. Regresses in that 5th start. Since that start, has gotten better from a numbers perspective in every single race, including earning a top time form rating of 95 last time out, running second. All of those races also sprint races. And we've talked about the lack of pace in this race. Kind of feels like this is a horse that could be forward, be able to get a good trip and get first run. And then the question is, can Gustad run this horse down? Now, Gustad, about 10 points better from a time form rating. I think this is going to be awfully interesting because if you get a better trip from the 10 than the 14, you get some improvement and you're closer to the pace. All of a sudden, 15-1 on Ardesia looks very, very interesting. I like the 3 a little bit, outfielder at 10-1. I think this is your leader in a paceless race, and if outfielder gets brave on the front end, I think that horse could make it interesting. Did you consider outfielder at all here?
Yeah, I think that is an interesting one as well. I think for me, it's trying to find those angles of like, okay, how can we get a longer price, if not to win, hit the board and really help. And one of the angles you're looking at is the speed. Outfielder is kind of that horse, right? Interesting to me, outfielder was actually entered last week to run, and they scratched outfielder out of that race to run here. He looked pretty good in there. He probably would have been like the second choice in that rate, maybe the favorite. Who knows how the betting would have been. But he's very, very interesting in this spot. We know Wesley Ward's going to send. How far can he hold it? I'm not sure. Interesting horse, though. I'm with you.
Yeah, that was a sprint race this horse was entered in, and now we are stretching out as well. That's race number 10, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. Number 10, Aaron's second long shot, our DJ here. If you're looking for an edge when you're betting the Breeders' Cup, we've got you covered all 14 championship races, and you don't want to be guessing. VSiN has a full expert picks page for just $9.99. That's every race, both days, straight from the top 3 handicappers, myself, Dave Tully, and Mr. Ed. If you're already a VSiN Pro subscriber, you get the picks for free. And don't forget right now, you can also subscribe to VSiN for 1 month for $9.99. So you might as well subscribe for the 1 month for $9.99 and be able to get this as well as everything else VSiN does. If you're interested in just the picks, head over to VSiN.com/breeders. That's VSIN.com/breeders. If you're looking to subscribe for $9.99 for 1 month, head over to VSiN.com/subscribe. That's VSIN.com/subscribe. All right, my second long shot, Aaron. We're sticking with the turf. We're sticking with the sprints. We're going to go to Saturday, race number 5, the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint, and I'm going to go to the number 4 horse, Kadeem, 10-1 on the morning line. We're adding blinkers. We've got 2 races in the U.S. for one of the better European turf sprinters out there, and now we have the ability to see this horse going around a traditional U.S.-style racetrack. The 2 races in the U.S. prior to last time at Keeneland were both at Kentucky Downs. Kentucky Downs is a funky track. We've talked about it quite a bit over on this show. I love the fact that we got to see this horse at Keeneland last time. We got to see the horse go 5.5 furlongs around a traditional racetrack, and I thought it was actually a very good race, being able to get up, win by a neck over Script and Joe Shiesty there in that spot in the Grade 2 Woodford. Now we advance on here to the Breeders' Cup. This year hasn't been the horse's best year in the 9-year-old season, but if you go back to the 8-year-old year, some of the 7-year-old year, this is possibly the best turf sprinter in the world. Now we're getting the opportunity to see this horse at the Breeders' Cup. If we can reclaim just a little bit of the form that we had back in 2024, 2023, we don't need to improve much because right now we're in it with the current numbers. If we can reclaim a little bit of that, I think this is actually a standout. So I'm going to go with the number 4, Kadeem, in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint, race number 5 on Saturday. Did you consider Kadeem?
Yeah, absolutely. Another one, I'll be smiling if you're right, because I'm going to have this horse on tickets as well. So you're 2 for 2 there, Somich. Yeah, listen, Kadeem, to me, obviously, a 9-year-old horse still running at this level is really cool. There's only been one other 9-year-old horse to win. It was a Breeders' Cup Marathon back in the day. And look, that's, that would be crazy to have another 9-year-old win. So rooting for that one as well. I'll say the same thing I did in your first long shot pick. I've got Kadeem. But Arizona Blaze was the one I kind of wanted. I'm against the favorite. I wanted a little bit of a price. Arizona Blaze, not a big enough price for this video, but I did want to mention that horse is 5-1. I really like him as well. I think it's a pick your poison type of race. Let's try to get a kind of a longer price home. And the one you mentioned, Kadeem, makes a lot of sense. Hey, the favorite could win here, but there are so many options. A lot of these horses look a lot alike. So yeah, I like your pick quite a bit.
What do you think the first quarter in that race goes, or the first quarter mile goes in that race? I mean, we've got so much speed with AG Bullet and Bear River, and she's so spicy, and and Bring the Band Home. This is going to be just burners early. What's your first quarter in the sprint?
You're not wrong. And you remember last year we were sitting there watching it, and it went like 21 and 2 or something like that. It was so fast. When Cogburn, a horse I was a big fan of, lost the race because he went very fast. I think it'll be just the same, 21 and 4, 21 and 2, something like that. They're absolutely going to fly.
I will take the under on 21 and 4. I think we might see a 20. I wouldn't be shocked if we see like a 20 and 4, a 21 flat, something like that. There is AG Bullet has to have the lead, wants the lead, doesn't have to have it. She has been able to, I should say Silver Bullet, because AG is the periodic table symbol for silver. So Silver Bullet's the actual horse's name, although it is AG Bullet in the past performances. There is so much speed in here. I think they're just going to absolutely burn early, and that's another reason why I like Kadeem, who's going to be coming from off the pace. All right, final long shot of Breeders' Cup weekend. Now, there's going to be more than this. Make sure you check out the video on Tuesday, 10/28. We covered all 5 of the Friday races. We're going to cover 5 of these Saturday races tomorrow at VSiN Live. You can see the video on YouTube. You can also check us out in podcast form, Apple, Spotify. Make sure you subscribe, rate, and review there. You'll get all of the content. We also just did an awesome interview with David Aragona. We're going to have Chris Felica on a little bit as well. So, Aaron, who do you like here? Final long shot of Breeders' Cup weekend.
Yeah, it's a great content with Felica and David Aragona, two very, very good people to listen to outside of us, of course. All right, so number 4, Cilia for me in the 7th race on Saturday, the Breeders' Cup Distaff. Yeah, don't look at those guys unless they're on our show, by the way. Just kidding. But number 4, Cilia is going to be for me, David Aragona, 15-1 on the morning line, Cilia, and I think it's probably going to be accurate. Let's tell a little story on Cilia here for a minute. I've loved this horse for a long time. So she got hot back in 2024. She was winning going 2 turns, going in longer races. She came out to Del Mar and ran in the Clement L. Hurst Stakes, ran a pretty good second, got beat by Adari Manor, horse out in California for Bob Baffert. It's pretty tough to beat when she's at home. All was good, though. We had won 3 in a row. We were looking very good, in my opinion. A horse that for Bill Mott, who looked like he was developing, or she was developing, I should say. All sprints, Mike, after that. Yep. Ran in 7 furlong races or 6 furlong races 6 times. 1-0 of them. Stretched out last time out in the Spinster. And I thought was, by the end of that race, was coming on. First time going long for a long time. And 7 starts, like I said. Finished 3rd, only beating a length and a quarter. But again, I thought down the stretch, she was making up ground on a track that wasn't all that easy to make up ground on. I think she gets better second time going long again in the form cycle, right? I like her at 15-1. The biggest other reason for me, this is a weak race. Look, again, she hits the board. Even when she was losing, she was hitting the board. She was running well. I think she's going to give you a race. I think she is a definite horse to play in exactas and tries. 15-1, number 4, Cilia for me.
Yeah, love her in tries. Exactas were getting a little tight for me. I do think you're going to get it. It's like if Seismic Beauty doesn't win, this race is wide open, right? I think that's, and you'll say that a lot of times with the favorite, but this one's particularly, like, you can make a case for 8, 9 of these horses if it's not Seismic Beauty. It's funny. We'll talk a little bit. We may not talk about this race tomorrow, so I'm going to mention it today. We often see this race have a lot of very tired horses at the end of it. I could, like, we joke about Stumble Bunnies, horses that are just exhausted by the end of races and so they're kind of stumbling home. If this race goes that way, I can't believe I'm about to say this. Doesn't Darth Vader win? Like, Darth Vader is like the queen of the Stumble Bunny. She's the one that doesn't stumble at the end. She just kind of keeps going and does her thing, and she's picked up multiple big wins. It feels like if Seismic Beauty does come back at all of a sudden, I think Cilia is definitely one that has an opportunity. I think Darth Vader, who's going to be sitting right there, maybe really tough to catch down the lane. And I never thought I would be picking or saying that Darth Vader could win a Breeders' Cup race, but here we are in 2025, and it's happening.
Well, I mean, minus Seismic Beauty, wasn't Darth Vader's last race better than anybody else? And that personal incident went toe-to-toe with Torpedo Anna, who fired. Yeah, I'm with you 100%. I think Darth Vader certainly makes a ton of sense. It's a horse that's just gotten better, right? Yep. She wasn't – I'm not saying, like, we laughed at her, but she was a horse that nobody liked that won at 40-1 as a 3-year-old down at Gulfstream, and then really didn't do a whole lot. And we're like, it is what it is. But she's legit now. I mean, she's really gotten better. So, yeah, I don't hate that.
Yeah, that was a throw your hands up in the air when she won the Devona Dale at 46-1 that day, and that was the first time we saw her just be like, I'm just going to keep going, and if everyone else stops, I'm going to win. And she's done that multiple times in her career. Won the Ogden Phillips Grade 1 over at Saratoga, and really should have beaten Torpedo Anna in the personal ensign, and just came up a nose short, got the worst of a bob, and was ahead right after the line. By the way, they were 9 clear of everybody else, too. So I do like Cilia there. I think that Darth Vader also a little interesting. We're going to close out the long shots with Mike going a little crazy.
Uh-oh.
Because I'm going to go to the Breeders' Cup Classic, and I'm going to take some flack for this one. And I already know it, and you know who I'm going to go to here. With Sovereignty out, that very much matters, by the way. With Sovereignty out, I think that you can poke holes in a lot of horses here. And I think one of the horses that is on the up that we've liked in the past, that has run very well in the last 2 races, including getting over the hump last time out in the Jockey Gold Cup, give me the number 10 Antiquarian, who is revised number 10-1 on the morning line, was 15-1 on the morning line. Why not Antiquarian, Aaron? This horse can come from middle of the pack. We're going to have a fast pace. We've got a rabbit in this one. You've got fierceness on the rail. That's going to create some pace as well. We saw this horse last time out beat Sierra Leone fair and square. Just dead on be able to beat Sierra Leone. This horse has gotten better in every one of his last 5 races. We've now seen a win at Grade 1 level. We thought this horse would have won the Grade 3 Blame, but somehow blew the turn. Probably should have won the Grade 2 Suburban, and then it all came together in that Jockey Club Gold Cup. gets the win at Saratoga going this distance. Give me Antiquarian 10-1 in the Breeders' Cup Classic as my third long shot.
I respect the hell out of it. I want to say that first. I do. Listen, it takes guts to do it, right? It does. You're coming out here on a video and you're saying Antiquarian's going to win this thing. And he was, probably the longest price of the ones that made sense and still is, in that regard. The one thing that I wholeheartedly agree with you on, you can poke holes in all these horses. You can poke holes in Antiquarian too. But the one thing I will say, to be quite honest, I haven't decided who I'm picking in this race yet because as we were recording this, they just scratched Sovereignty, the horse I had picked for months. So I'm in panic mode. Maybe I fall on Antiquarian, who knows? But the one thing you can say about him, this horse is getting better and better and better. His first race this year was good. His next race was even better. Had him singled that day. He ran second, broke my heart. His third race was pretty darn good. He did hold off Sierra Leone in that race. Now, Sierra Leone had to hurdle over Irad Ortiz early in the race because he had fallen off Mindframe, who, by the way, could have been hard to beat in that race as well if he had a jockey on his back. So
fair too.
It was. What I'm trying to say is I'm not making fun of you for it. I don't think it's out of the question because here's what I will say. Well, go ahead. You want to say it's your pick. Go ahead.
Well, here's my thing. We don't know if Fierce is going to show up. That's a problem for me. 100%. We've never seen Forever Young win one of these races. Sierra Leone's going to come from a mile back, and by the way, just got beat by this horse. We don't really know the upside of Mindframe. Journalism and Baeza, the 3-year-olds, neither of us was going to pick them second with Sovereignty in there. So I'm not going to put him on top now that Sovereignty's out. I don't think he changes the structure of the race enough for either of those two horses. I would rather get 10-1 on Antiquarian than I would 5-2 on the rail on Fierceness, or then 7-2 on Sierra Leone or Forever Young. Give me the bigger price with the horse that has, in my mind, this is crazy to say, more upside than anyone else heading into this race because he could logically improve, and his last number's already good enough to win this.
Yeah. No, I can't. I wish I could argue it, but I really can't. And here's what's funny is we've loved this horse all year long. If you go back and listen to the other pods we've done throughout the year, we talk about him every time he runs. Oh, we love Antiquarian. He's going to be so good. We think he's getting better. He was a horse that had every right to improve as a 4-year-old, and he has. And now here we are, coming full circle with you putting this horse as your long shot here. Look, I'm with you because I went through the same thing. When I re-handicapped this race with Sovereignty out, I'm reminded why I like Sovereignty so much because there were no holes that I poked in him. Now, if you're listening, you may have, and maybe you had a different opinion. That's fine. But for me, I thought he was a lock. So, you're right. I don't want to take Fierceness at a short price. I will play him on tickets, but I don't want to rely on him, right? I'd rather rely on anybody but him in the race. And he might be the best horse in the race. That's just how he is. I did Forever Young last year. I picked him last year. I get it. He's going to get a better trip. I get it. There are things to really like about him. I don't know if I want to go there again. I don't know if I want to go with Sierra Leone ever, So I'm with you. I'm like, do I go Mindframe? Would Mindframe have beaten Antiquarian if Irad stays on last time out? And maybe that's kind of the value. I don't know. So Antiquarian is one I'm debating on as well.
Again, bummed to see Sovereignty scratch. Happy it happened now because we have the opportunity to not second guess what version of Sovereignty we're going to get in the Breeders' Cup Classic, and we're able to handicap this race without him. But holy buckets, does it open this race up? It really makes it easy to make a case for pretty much anyone except contrary thinking. So don't have contrary thinking and play that horse on top. Contrary thinking is going to go out, be a rabbit. I would not be surprised if any of the other 8 horses win. How deep do you think you're going to go in pick 5s in the Breeders' Cup Classic?
4 deep. I think I'm going to go 4 deep.
4 deep? Okay.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I was going 2 deep, and now I'm going 4. Yeah.
I would not talk people off the all button. We'll just put it that way. I think and again, that's why I like a long shot here.
Right.
If you told me you like Nevada Beach, who's the longest price on the board, not counting the rabbit, right, I wouldn't say you're crazy. I'd be like, all right, Like, I could see it. The horse needs to take a big step forward, but it's Baffert at home. Like, so to me, this is a race where you want to try and find a little bit of a price, unless you have a monster opinion, because if you do have a monster opinion, that really helps separate you from the rest of the people who are betting those pick 4s and pick 5s.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on that. Like, forget about the contrary thinking, the rabbit. I wouldn't want the 4, but if, like, say we were at a Breeders' Cup party and we were drawing numbers out of a hat to root for, right, to win a prize. If you know what, if I drew Nevada Beach, like you said, I'd be like, okay, I can roll with this. I'm not sitting there watching the race going, well, there's nothing to watch, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you said it, like, Baeza journalism, not horses that we had in second, so why are we going to put them first? But they can win. Like, there's no doubt. Because, I mean, what's the argument? Hey, if I thought Sovereignty was great, these horses were getting beat by him, Sovereignty's not in the race, they can win now, right? So, yeah, I'm with you.
Pretty crazy that we are sitting here on a Wednesday before the Breeders' Cup, and we've got a wide-open Classic after it looked like it was a pretty closed Classic, but that's what one scratch can do. Make sure you stick with us here, VSiN at the Track. If you missed the show yesterday, check it out, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, at VSiN Live. Hit the thumbs-up button there. Subscribe if you're enjoying the content. This is our Long Shots video, so drop your favorite Long Shots below here on YouTube, and make sure you're subscribed over on Apple and Spotify, because we're not done. This is not the last episode before Breeders' Cup weekend. We'll be back tomorrow covering 5 of the races from Saturday as well. We'll have a full deep dive into the Breeders' Cup Classic. We'll talk Breeders' Cup Turf, and we'll make Aaron pick the Breeders' Cup Classic, as he was wishy-washy today after I went out on a limb and said we'll take Antiquarian at 10-1. Remember, if you're going to bet the Breeders' Cup, why not win a VIP exclusive experience over at Circa? Head over to first.com at st.com/VSiN there. Sign up with promo code VSiNBC, VISNBC. Deposit and bet $200 on the Breeders' Cup, and you can win the VIP Vegas experience at Circa, including 2-night stay, a $250 food and beverage credit, your own cabana at Stadium Swim, and of course a behind-the-scenes visit to the VSiN studio. Plus, when you deposit and bet $100, you'll score a 1-year VSiN Pro subscription as well. Sign up today, first.com/VSiN. That's number 1, st.com/VSiN. Thanks for listening, watching, whatever you're doing this episode of VSiN at the Track. Again, make sure you're subscribed wherever we're going live, because we're going to have more content coming this week. Great interviews, more picks tomorrow. We'll see you at the track.